Hey, this is Allie Edwards and welcome back to December Daily for 2019. This is day 2. Here is what I'm starting with for day 2, what I had from my foundation pages. I have stamps with big number stamps over here. These are super fun and I believe that we restocked these. I'll have to double check, but this is how I stamped them originally. A few more details about that were in product play. And let's see, what else do I want to say about that? So that's kind of my decorative part, right? And then this side, I had one of the gold cards. So we had, let's see, I have to pull that out of there. These were available when we launched December Daily this year. We have them available digitally, but the ones that were actually printed, it's kind of a rose gold almost. And I've done some things with things, I've done some things in the past with it's kind of like an overlay, right? And so what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to cut this photo. I already printed it, cropped it when I printed it to, I believe it's like 3.25 by 2.5. And I cut it so that it would fit in this space. So let's go ahead and trim that first. What I'm considering is how do I want to add my story. So it's kind of a weird picture. But what the picture is a picture of Chris and I, so Chris is my ex-husband, Chris and I meeting with Simon's psychologist. So we had a meeting with her today, and Simon's been seeing somebody for a while, which I think is great for all people. It's been great for Simon, and so we had a check-in with her, just kind of talk about how things are going and talk a little bit about transition because Simon is a senior in high school. And just talking a little bit about, you know, how that's going and how we feel about it as parents and our fears. I think that it's really good to have somebody to check in with about those kinds of things. So here, I probably could have made it a little bit taller. I actually might reprint it again so that I have the margins right, just a little bit. Give a little bit more on the bottom there. Anyway, this is a picture of our feet. So Chris and my feet after the meeting. And I would like to tell a story about that in some way or another. And so what I'm trying to decide what to do right now is where do I want to put the story? I thought about typing it. So let's talk through some options, right? I thought about typing it on top of the picture itself. That would have worked, but I'm kind of thinking it might be a little bit longer. I don't know that for sure yet. I could add in another page. That's definitely a possibility. I could have this be a flip up, which is also another possibility. If I do that, I think I would want to have this live outside of the page protector. And so I would literally probably just adhere this onto the page protector itself, which will allow this part to be a flip up. And I think that's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go reprint it, reprint the photo itself to give me a little bit more height on there. Then I can put some sort of little embellishment on here. I can stamp the date with a rolling date stamp, which is something that I want to do here. I was going to find one. This is one that I really like from One Canoe 2. Try to make sure I get the year right. That happens to me from time to time. So December 2nd. So that can be stamped right on there. So I'll be doing that. Figuring out what sort of embellishment do I want to add on here. So I can pull out some of got all kinds of stars. I use one of these star brads over here. I could have that over here. That would be a nice repetition. I could also use one of these stars like this. That actually might work really good. That's from the Liz Tamanaha Paisley Press kit, and there's actually a smaller one that would fit in. I think I like it going over. Okay, so I need to go back to my computer. I might actually add a secondary star like that on top. I'm gonna go back to my computer. I am going to make this a little bit taller, and I am going to type up some journaling, and then we will proceed from there. Okay, so I went ahead, I wrote my journaling out. I just used a gray background, so in Photoshop I just colored the initial layer gray and then made my text in white. And I also decided to reprint the photo with some word art on it. This word art is part of the layered template set that's offered for this year. That layered template set has a variety of different I believe it has 3x8, 4x6, and 6x8 page templates. Those are all included with that package, and then I just took it off of the template and added it on here. And I really like how that looks. I just kind of turned it a little bit so that it's going off of the image there. And then what I'm going to do next is, again, create some kind of a flip up here. I think I needed to trim the bottom just a little bit. Let's see. Yeah. And then again, making some kind of a flip up here, which will most likely just, again, be washi tape, which is a totally fine way to create, a fun and easy way to create a flip up. Probably a little bit too much, of course, now. Let's see. Trying to get these two so that they're closer to even. All right, and remember how I said yesterday, again, like part of the reason why I like to do some of this work in advance is so that I can focus on this part of it during the month itself. And so that part all got done before, you know, even like stuff for day 3. So I have things that are ready. Again, lots of flip ups. That seems to feel like where we are heading here. So I think what I'm going to do for this one, I don't necessarily want to see the washi tape on the outside here, but I don't mind seeing it on the inside. So I'm going to look at my options. This one's going to be probably closer together than the last one, and I'll probably put some sort of pattern paper on the inside there. I was going to see, what did I have? I did pick up some other ones that were, like there's a new one that I got. That one was from Freckled Fawn. Let's see if I had some other one. I think this is from this year. It might be from last year. I don't know yet. Let's do, this is masking tape from a couple years ago. We do have masking tape actually from this year. There's a green. That would probably look okay on there. Because it's just going to be what you see. It's on the gray, so that's why I'm kind of hesitating a little bit. And again, it can just be where you're just seeing a little bit of it. Or I can also just make it be where I want this to be underneath. And then I could have this one that says follow law, which I think this is from this year. This might have been from last year. I'm trying to see. I think that this is probably too, let's see. Because this time, what I don't want to do is I didn't want to have to go over the top here. And I'm okay with like seeing a little bit of it. Let's trim that off and then see. And if I wanted to, I could have even just a tiny little bit of this one come over. See what that looks like. It's gonna make it a little bit tight. Yeah, I don't really like that. Let's see if I can pull it back off. Yeah, what I want is really to not see that part. So I think that's okay. And then on the inside here, I can add embellishments. I could add, let's see what we want to add, pattern paper. I could add more tape. That might look kind of fun. Let's see what that looks like. This is just the underneath part, right? That makes a fun pattern. That is what I'm going to do. I think this is awesome too, especially if you have a lot of washi tape in your stash and maybe you're looking for a way to use some of it. You can create your own patterns just by doing something like that. Okay, so let's trim that off along the edge. I want to tighten this up. Yeah, I think I need to leave it though so that it's okay. So again, this will sit on top of here. It will flip up. I'm kind of thinking about having the star come off of it like this, so then that actually helps. It's a way to lift it up. So I'm not necessarily using that space. Let me think about that. But I think I can adhere this down on the back of the card. So again, using this as my base. And then this is going to get adhered onto the page protector so that it's living outside of the album. So, oh man, so that it's actually interactive. We're going for it. We're not going to worry about it. Okay, so again, so this is the idea that it's going to sit outside of here and then it would lift up. So let's, I mean, I could put a giant star on there. That would kind of cover that up. And then it would be able to pull up. And I could put one of these inside there so that I have the repetition of the one on the other page over here. I don't need this to be a functional brad, so I'm just gonna go through again. I'm gonna use this as a page lift up thing, right? Using a paper, this is a paper piercer to create a hole. And then this will go inside there, and then this can be right here so that it can actually flip up. That's gonna work. Okay. And I can just adhere that down on there. Now what I needed to do, or I wanted to do, was do the date. Let's do a test with this one. Okay, so this is the One Canoe 2 one, and I think that one looks cute. And I think that that's probably what I want to do. Actually, let's adhere this thing down. My other option is just a more traditional one. I think I'm going to go with the smaller one here. All right, that turned out just fine. And now I'm going to use some red line tape, I think, to adhere that fabric on there. And as well, I'm also going to use this to adhere this onto the outside of the page protector. And again, the reason why I'm doing that is because I want it to be able to flip up. So I'm just going to leave that space blank there, but if you are choosing a different little adventure with your project, that's a great space to add an embellishment, like a small little embellishment. Even if you have these ones, these are from the mini kit, like that little star could go right in there, all kinds of different things. Let's see if I can get this red line tape off of the fabric with my no fingernails. Got it. Okay, so again, part of why I'm turning it this way is because I wanted to cover up that spot. And it's also, I also kind of like it because it's going with the diagonal of there, so that will work just fine. That will then allow that to go up. A little bit of adhesive on there, that works fine. And then what I want to do next is I'm going to adhere this onto the page protector itself. Doing all kinds of crazy things here. So let's just put some red line tape directly onto. Again, if you are not, if you don't need the flip up, you wouldn't necessarily need to adhere this to the outside. I'm just choosing to do that so that the flip up is an actual functional one versus one that just sits inside. That's probably enough. And I think it's also nice to just think about the fact that things don't have to go inside the page protectors, that we have lots of options for going outside as well. The last decision that I want to make or need to make here too is, did I want to put anything on the inside here? Because I could easily put another embellishment, could be something flat, it could be, this was looking at like this, even this little triangle right there, something like that. I'm gonna look and see, what do I have in here? So many fun things. It's not really a tree thing. And I don't necessarily want it to be super thick either. I mean, it could be a tree, but this story probably less a tree story than something else. Let's see. And I can always just leave it too, right? Or even just go like today's story. That's something that could go there. December's memories. Another star. Okay. I think I'm going to call it good. I don't really feel like I need to have anything in there, but you can always put word phrase stickers or something else into that space. And if I find any other, just looking at these fabric pieces, that's kind of cute too. Maybe I'll put that in there. All right, let's wrap it up for, I like the gray too, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. Wrapping it up for day 2, I'll give you a look here in the full thing inside the album. And kind of like it to be somewhat in the middle. This is when I get out my ruler, right? Because that's what they were made for. And it's hard to tell what exactly is the middle, but we're going to go right about there. All right. Okay, wrapping it up for day 2. Let's go ahead and put this back into the album so you can see. So, a couple things to note as I'm sitting here. You know, if you're doing this, if you're working on this right now, in this case, you really don't, like, this is a cool looking page, but you don't have to have that page. It still is connecting to it, right? It's the second, it's the number 2, it's about the 2 of us, it's a story of 2, but it also can live on its own. And I think that that's a nice reminder that it doesn't have to be, you know, a full page spread. And I'm not really planning on doing a spread every single time, just some days it will be because that's what I have there. So moving on just to look at day 3, this was a freebie, this piece right here, from the prep party, the December daily prep party that we had. So I'm going to tell some kind of a story related to this and here, and got the 3 over here. We'll see if I need to move things around. One of the things that does happen to me often as I go through this is I kind of mix things up, cut things off, take things out, that kind of thing. So it might, and that may end up happening tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know yet. We're not there yet, right? We're not there, and I don't know what story I'm going to tell yet. But we can say that day 2 is in the books. A nice little story about what's real in our lives right now.